Welcome to Math 112 for the fall semester. When you log into Blackboard, you should see Math 112 Online Applied Calculus in your course list. When you click on that, it should take you to, right now, the syllabus page where you can find a copy of the syllabus. So if you left click on this, you can read about my name, Dr. Carl Miller, my office and phone number and email. Email is probably going to be the most important thing since this is an online class. We will figure out office hours as we go along. Prereqs, you just need to make sure that you're ready for the class, having passed Math 109 or scored high enough on a placement test or an equivalent course to Math 109. We're going to look at some areas of mathematics related to calculus and looking at a lot of applications of that. Our textbook is Calculus with Applications by Lyle, Greenwell, and Ritchie. It's the 10th edition of the book, and I'll show you an image of it shortly. I don't want to read the syllabus to you, but make sure that you go through and look at this. We will be using MyMathLab, especially to do the homework. You can have a graphing calculator such as a TI. 83 and 84 is probably common. Also an 89 are all fine calculators to have. You also need a webcam for the course. When we do tests and quizzes, you'll have to have a webcam to take those. And then you can look through the other information, what you're going to learn in the course in general, how I'm going to grade you throughout the course, when exams are, all those things you can look at when you get a chance. The last day to withdraw and get a W on your transcript is Monday, October 26th, 2015. So you can stay in the course until then and not have an F show up or anything on your course grade if you're not doing well in the course. Just make sure that you keep that date in mind, and hopefully nobody's going to have to withdraw, but sometimes things just happen and courses don't go as well as we want. I'm going to close that tab. There's also a tentative schedule of what we're going to cover week by week. What I've tried to do is put things in color codes. So weeks 1, 2, and 3, we're going to cover basically chapters 1 and 2. And then we're going to have a test at the end of really the 4th week, even though we're going to start the next chapter, or at least the first section of the next chapter, that same week. Similarly, you've got sort of this light orange color for the second test material, purple for the third test material, and then the last material will be on the final exam, which is cumulative, so it covers everything we cover in the course. And that'll be due by Wednesday night of finals week. So you can print that schedule out and hang it by your computer. The main thing you're going to have to do is make sure that you keep up with material. Now let's get back into Blackboard. I'm going to have a weekly content folder, and what I'll do is put weekly folders here, and you can click in those, and there may be handouts or videos to watch. References to textbook pages. Remember, we're on the tentative schedule, so make sure you're reading all the textbook sections as we go along. The other major component we're going to look at is MyMathLab. Now, when you first click in here the first time, it'll only have 1 or 2 links. Go ahead and click on that, go through, and it'll set you up to either enter the access code you purchased at the bookstore, or you can make a direct online purchase to get into MyMathLab. Now, what MyMathLab is going to have is your textbook in an electronic format for one, and you're also going to do homework assignments in the MyMathLab system. I will probably also use components of this to actually do lectures and stuff in video format. But the course home will take you to sort of this layout, and you can see when assignments are posted, Really what you want to look at though is when they're due, and there'll be a little clock that says when they're due, and you can read about some of the layout and stuff. There are 2 homework assignments already posted. The orientation just sort of gets you used to how the MyMathLab system works as far as homework. We're going to do all of the homework, or at least most of it, within the MyMathLab system. And then if you get something correct or incorrect, you'll know immediately instead of having to turn something in and wait for me to give it back to you. This is an image of our textbook. It is also where it says chapter contents. If you click there, that is actually the textbook. And we're going to actually start in chapter 1. And then you can click like section 1, and then there's a video presentation. If you view the multimedia e-text, it'll take you to that part of the textbook. And then work in your study plan. I really don't use the study plan that much, but you're welcome to. You can go in there and like work exercises from those sections and stuff. But going back, go back to the main menu here. There also are things to keep in mind, like learning how to use the software. So what this will do, I'll just pick a random starting point. You're going to work through all of these, but it sort of walks you through what the layout is. The questions are listed at the top, and then if you want to look at information, you can sometimes click these different icons. So the first homework assignment really is just about learning to use the online homework system. So I'll let you work through that, but you can use these arrows to scroll through. You can click here, it'll bring the graph up, and then you can move things along. So you can select different things, do different things. Maybe you want to draw another graph in. But the orientation will sort of walk you through that, and we'll learn more about these tools as we go along in the course. I'm going to go ahead and leave this page. You also will have a grade book. Once you register for the course, you can click here and it'll give you a list of your grades and assignments. Keep in mind that although this is an online course, there is a schedule to keep, and I will have weekly homework assignments that are going to be due by basically Sunday night at midnight every week. And then tests will be over weekends, so that you've got either Friday evening, Saturday, or Sunday sometime to get it done. And those will be due probably Monday morning early sometime. Again, the weekly content and the MyMathLab buttons are probably going to be the most common ones to use. And as we go along, if you have questions, feel free to email me. You can either click the email button and then find my name in that menu, or you can just email me according to what's on the syllabus at millercarr@nku.edu. One thing to keep in mind also is make sure the email that you check either is your NKU email address, or you have forwarded that to the address that you check regularly, because anything that I send out through Blackboard is going to come to that NKU email address, and you have to keep up with that. So let's make it a great semester, and hopefully we'll learn a lot of calculus together.